This is Jonathan Lane from Fan Film Factor, and today we are shining a spotlight on the country of Deutschland, Germany. And I am honored to have with me here three of Die Leute, the people, the folks behind the long-running Star Trek fan series EUDERION. They got their start, I think more than a decade and a half ago. And in that time, they have released, I think it's more than 14 or more Star Trek fan films, all of them quite excellent and all of them in German. But you can watch them with subtitles turned on because the subtitles are there in YouTube. And anyway, it is definitely worth checking out. Guten Tag, meine Freunde. Willkommen um den Fanfilmfaktor.
Hello.
Did I
Hi.
get that right?
Yeah, we can teach you a little bit more German today.
Okay.
Guten Abend.
Guten
Guten
Abend.
Abend. Guten Abend, which is good night, good evening, or
Yeah.
okay. Well, keep in mind, for me, it is 11 o'clock in the morning. For you guys, it is
Guten Morgen.
okay. So Guten Morgen, you say to me, and then Guten Abend to you guys in the evening in Germany. By the way, I have my father-in-law to thank for that rough translation. His parents were born in Austria. And he speaks fluent German. So he told me that it would be Willkommen um den Fanfilmfaktor, which would be to the fan film factor.
Yes.
And I was like,
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't have a the. He's like, well, in German you would.
Or you could just say Willkommen bei Fanfilmfaktor.
Willkommen bei Fanfilmfaktor. Okay.
Yeah, it's much shorter. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
You see, guys, you're learning. My viewers, you're learning German already, so you can say Dankeschön to these guys, to that. Anyway, all right. Well, let's introduce everybody who is here. First, we do have Tom Erdmann. Is that how the last name is pronounced?
Erdmann.
Erdmann.
Erdmann, yes.
Erdmann. Okay. And what is your role and your title for EUDERION?
So I play Eigen DeFalco. It's a non-unified trill, and I play the role of the ops officer, like Harry Kim and Commander Data. So I'm in charge of everything that the script supposed me to do.
And what do you do behind the scenes, or are you just playing the character?
Well, I did not do too much stuff. Mostly actually some of the technology, not the camera technology, that is Basti's issues, but for example, some of the I repair the lights, and I
very important.
Yes,
fixing stuff.
Yeah, I fix stuff, and I do some prop work with our friend Thomas, who is not with us here. Thomas and I, we are the fathers of this little guy here.
And can we talk about this little fellow here, because he has become quite the popular brand new artificial character in your most recent fan film, and his name is Carl, I believe.
Yes. It's an acronym for Cybernetic Apparatus for Research and Labor. And yeah, actually, so behind the scenes story, it's a Corona project. When I was visiting Thomas during lockdown, I found some foam pieces in his room and said, "What are you doing there?" I'm building an exocomp. I don't have anything to do with my time, so I'm building an exocomp. Okay, cool. But if you
might as well,
yeah. So, but when you're making an exocomp, it should have some electronics in it. So blinking lights and the waving, the rocking antennas. And so I found out how to program the Arduinos to make the rocking antennas and stuff everything inside. So there are like 60 meters or 80 meters of copper wires inside and some 50 or 60 LEDs. And then we made a story around how Carl should become a member of our crew, because the idea was having a non-human character in the crew, but since we are all humans, it would be hard to introduce a non-human character. So that was the easiest way. I think the story was made up by Thomas or Basti. I forgot.
It's always a joint venture.
Oh yeah.
It's always, we're meeting and drinking beer and writing. So that's how we get our stories
A
done.
winning combination for creating any Star Trek fan film.
Our creative evenings, we call it.
Well, I mean, you've got German beer, so why not drink? Why not add that to the mix, so to speak?
Yeah.
And I believe there's another Carl in your room, wandering around like a ghost,
It
a
is,
Craig ghost.
Rosa and Carl, the socialist leaders, and the other Carl is sitting right by the shelf over here and watching down.
That is the kitty cat that you guys are
Yes.
occasionally seeing. All righty, let's go to Miri next. So what is your full name? Because I only see Miri down here at the bottom, but I know it's more than that.
It's MIRI LUX.
Miri LUX.
I
Okay.
play. I play Alana Kosh as a science officer, and I'm a joint trill, and I'm fairly new to the ship. That was my first film with them.
That's true. The most recent one where you were possessed. You were very
Yes.
and
That
you were
healthy.
Yeah, but you did a very good job of being possessed. I truly believe that you were possessed.
It was a whole new level. Yeah. And behind the scenes, I'm not doing much yet. I bring the cookies sometimes.
Which is
That
very
is so
important.
important. Yeah, I mean, they must be fed. You must feed your people. You must water your people. Oh, that's very important.
It only started with me asking if I could hold the microphone, if I could help eventually in a studio, the cellar, which is the studio, and then I was, come in. You want to have a role? You can have your own lines, and then that started the whole thing. Yeah.
Well, how did you get there in the first place? I mean, did somebody just say, hey, we're making a Star Trek film, can you help? Or we're like, I'm kind of curious. I want to see what got you into the cellar, so to speak, in the first place.
Yeah, kind of. I watched their movies, and we meet regularly at in another town next to Berlin, in Potsdam. We meet every 4 weeks for a Stammtisch. Track dinner.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where we meet, and then that's when I posed the question if I could come along and do something.
Oh, okay. So you have the Trek dinner. Is the Trek dinner because you guys are just more like, fans just getting together, or is the Trek dinner specifically for people who were involved in EUDERION?
No, it's generally everyone in Berlin and the vicinity can come and hang with us.
Well, that is awesome. I mean, and I'm going to be asking a little bit about Trek fandom in Germany, because I know that Star Trek is huge in Deutschland. I mean, almost more so than in America. So I want to talk about that a little bit. But first, I'd like to talk to Sebastian and welcome him to here. So yes, tell us a little bit about you. You are Sebastian Bittins. Is that the last name?
Yeah. You just can call me Basti. That's
Basti.
Yeah.
Okay. Basti is good. So Basti, how did you get involved in this project, and who do you play, and what else do you do behind the scenes?
Well, the short answer in front of the camera, I'm Chief Reynolds, so the chief engineer of the ship. And yeah, behind the camera, I'm doing a lot. I do a lot of camera work. I have all the tech. I'm the one who's going on the nerves of the other people to if I see some new stuff I want to try, and so on. So yeah, that's I'm the tech guy. I play around with cameras and stuff. And yeah, I joined EUDERION. I think it's 2010, 2011, something like that. I was filming also in Potsdam, because we have a big film studio there, and was some science fiction parade, so some event, and I was filming there, and then I saw there was one Klingon standing, and this was Thomas, and I interviewed him, and I just wanted to know, hey, what are you guys doing here? And he told me about fan films. I have never heard about fan films before this day. And yeah, then I talked with him and wanted to know more, and visited the group, and yeah, somehow I stayed, and I think a few weeks after my first visit to the EUDERION track dinner, I also played a Klingon and already edited some parts of the new fan film they did, and also filmed some parts. Yeah, that's a long time ago. But
it's over a decade
still
later,
here.
and you're still around. Yes,
Still here, yeah.
they haven't worn you out yet, apparently.
The interesting thing is that I was there as well, but I didn't know these two guys or the one he met there. But my group was also there, and we were just, I don't know, a few meters away from them. And I still remember the guy I was there with, Micha. His feet hurt. He was also a Klingon. He had a Star Trek II uniform, and he was in boots that were too small for him. And that's what I remember about that day. And that my now husband was there as a mage, I think, a female mage. He had a very short costume on that he sew himself. He made it himself, and it's just. And then a few years afterwards, we realized that we were all at the same occasion in the same party.
And because Basti showed us his footage from this time.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
there
Yes,
we
and
saw each other's face on his video footage.
Yeah, in the background of the other
Yeah.
pictures. That was crazy.
So how many people come to this monthly gathering then?
It depends on the time of the year, most specifically, and sometimes between 15 and 30 people. Sometimes
Yeah. I think.
we meet every Friday on a Friday evening at 6 p.m. and then it's until closing time. And it's always you talk to everyone at a time, and the food is very good because we are in a very nice town next to Berlin. Who wants to comes, and sometimes you don't see people for a few months, and it's also it's okay.
And it's
By the way,
main...
go ahead. I was just going to say really quickly. By the way, you could also have said the food is really good because we're in Europe.
Yes.
Also, yeah. No, I just wanted to say that this roundtable we are part of, this monthly, is basically our main pool of guest actors, and a few times after they sometimes become regular actors and part of our group. So that's really great, because this this track dinner. The cool thing is that open for every kind of track fan in the vicinity and around us, and there's so many different kinds of Star Trek fans and groups. There the fan filmers, and there's the USS Kela, a group who has built a cool defined bridge. Also in Berlin.
Awesome.
We have to send you pictures. It's really, really great. Very professional. And some regular Star Trek fans who just go there and want to talk about Trek. And sometimes we're talking about our new projects, and who could play this role? Who could play? And then we ask them, and then we have a new actor. That's cool.
Now, they built a Defiant bridge that you guys could potentially film on, or is it?
There's one. You can film on. They are very open. You can just ask them, and it's in the location is oh God.
Fates.
Yeah, how to describe Fates?
A youth center.
Youth center, yeah, right.
Youth and
that's
family
been existing for 45 years in Eastern Berlin. It's got a very long tradition, and they actually had a room, I think, with no windows.
Yes.
And Kayla asked to use that because they couldn't find any other use for that room other than storage. It was and I think they surrounded the whole room with the the
Soundproofing?
Raumschiff.
Special.
No, not
Oh, space.
soundproofing.
Oh, with the
But-
set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
whole room is a set.
The whole room is
Yeah.
a set.
The whole, yeah. Mhm.
How large is the room?
I think the
38
room itself
meters?
is like 1,000 square feet.
Yeah,
No, not
it's-
even. No.
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 And it's
No.
not one-to-one. It's smaller than the actual
It's
defined
smaller than the
original.
original defined, but on the first glance, it looks like defined. I think there are only two
bridge.
consoles on each side,
Yeah.
and everything is a bit smaller. But
And the console in the front is actually one-to-one to the original console, I think. And yeah, and they build it because they're LARPer, so role player. They build it for the role playing group.
Are they making any fan films?
They actually did, I think, 2 already. Yeah, we can
Did
definitely. Yeah, we can
Oh.
send you some links. Yeah.
Oh, please! I want to check it out. I haven't heard. Did you know the name of the fan films or fan series?
They're not a series. It's uses Kela after Worf's life.
Yeah.
And I can send you a link and then and some
Check it.
photos. Yeah, check it
Oh,
out.
I will check them out because I'm going to be having some other German interviews coming up
Oh.
because Lorelei is
Lorelei,
brand
yeah.
Lorelei. They are the brand new kids on the block,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they have just dived into fan films.
And they're crazy.
They look a little crazy, which is great.
Yeah.
But I told them that I was going to give EUDERION the first interview because you guys were around first. But it looks like I have to keep going back to Germany and I have to get my German better and better to be able to welcome the folks. But anyway, but right now back to EUDERION. So at this point, I guess Thomas, you've been around the longest for EUDERION, right? Were you there at the very, very beginning or just
yeah.
So how did it all start? Tell us the story where EUDERION burst onto the scene.
So actually, I was there with my oldest friend Thomas, who's not with us today, and we were first part of another Star Trek fan group. It was called the Aldrin, like Buzz Aldrin, and but then we split up with these guys, and then we and 2 or 3 others, and then, like right after New Year's Eve of 2003. We met in a bar and we thought, okay, let's have another Starship, let's have another fan group, let's get rid of all the hassle and the struggle with the other guys. And at this time, the name EUDERION, there was no meaning. There's no meaning of this word because people always ask, what does it mean? It doesn't mean
I was going to
anything.
ask. It doesn't mean anything.
Doesn't mean
Okay.
anything. And at this time, there were no results in Google searches for this name. So we thought, okay, Google might become a big player one day. And then when people are trying to find the word EUDERION at Google, they will only find us. So
Makes
this
sense.
is one of the advantages of this name. There was a short time where the name EUDERION was given to a heart medicine. But it's not. Yeah, on Google we found from the pharmaceutical industry. They named one of their medicines after EUDERION, or I don't know why. So, but the name EUDERION does not has any meaning. And and then Basti told you heard Basti. He joined us in 2011, and then the group. Some people came and some people left again, and but Thomas and we were always there, and Basti and Miri are also with us quite a long time now. And we are shooting in front of green screen at
the whole time.
Basti's sister's basement. This is as you might imagine, in Germany and in all towns and cities, it's hard and expensive to rent any studios. So that's why we are very grateful that we can use Brina's basement. It's like a 20 square meters, so it's like 200 square feet. It's very small. And when there are more than 2 or 3 people in front of the camera, it's getting very narrow. And then there's Basti who needs to shoot. And we have to ask the neighbors not to use the toilet for the next minutes, to be quiet. And don't bring out their trash because it's right by the trash bins. And
Problem with being in space is your neighbors
Yes.
taking out their trash.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And
Others
flushing
have
your
to
toilets.
accommodate. Others have to accommodate for planes overhead. We have to accommodate
Yeah.
for the trash.
Yes.
Well, you know what? That's probably the reason that the heart medication was named EUDERION, because you guys have heart. You guys have to have
Yes.
heart
Mhm.
to make your fan films. It's, you know, the dedication that it takes. Because, like I said, you guys have produced 14 different fan films, and I'd like to say to you,
Have we? I didn't count it.
I counted.
We're just doing one after the other, and then
Hey.
yeah. Okay.
Well, I counted this morning. I went to YouTube, and there on your playlist there are 14 of different sizes. You know,
Yeah.
some of them are very short, some of them are actually fairly long, including your most recent one. And I'll let the folks know if you haven't watched any of them yet. They are all different, and when I say all different, I mean there are some that are very, very serious. There are some that are very, very funny. And there are some that are somewhat sad. There are some that are scary, some that are exciting. You guys are all over the place, and which is great. I love, same thing with, Star Trek: The Next Generation or Deep Space Nine. There were all sorts of different,
Yeah.
Types of episodes there. So, for Sebastian, since you're one of the ones writing it, what is your inspiration? How do you think of a story for a fan film? What happens there?
It's yeah. I mean, you told it. It's Star Trek Next Generation, DS9. They are basically Star Trek is just a vehicle. It's just, and you can put every story you can count of, or you can imagine, you can put into Star Trek, and tell it from a Star Trek point of view. So that's basically, how we try to imagine our stories. Are there Star Trek? Do they fit into Star Trek? Do they have a meaning? I mean, Star Trek, all good Star Trek stories always had some message, some meaning, and we try to honor this with our stories, and our stories we just we have so many ideas. I don't think we have the problem. The problem is how we get to our stories. The problem is more like, what stories do we pursue and film actually. And we just the most important part for us is we want to tell Star Trek stories, like Star Trek.
Now, Star Trek is I mentioned this earlier. Star Trek is very, very big in Germany. Why? And, like much more so than in, say, France next door. Or, I mean, obviously there's folks in the Czech Republic on the other side of you guys that are making, fan films. But, Italy, they only just made their first ever Star Trek fan film. You guys have been going for, a decade and a half. So what is it? And for those folks out there who don't know, one of the biggest Star Trek conventions that happens every year is FedCon in Germany.
Yeah.
Where in Germany does FedCon happen?
Bonn, the old capital.
And so
far away from Berlin. It's always a pain in the butt to drive there.
Yeah.
Do you get to at least drive on the Autobahn between the two and not have a speed limit?
Yeah, but my
speed
car
limit
has a
is
speed limit.
the car is a speed limit.
He has a camper.
Yeah, my camper van.
It's okay. I think the Autobahn would terrify me. I was terrified enough driving in Italy. Was that?
Yeah, there's some
That's-
crazy people.
Yeah, in Italy, yes, but the
But
Autobahn
also
is
on our,
fine.
of course, there's crazy people on our
Yeah, but it's very roomy. You can even the camper van has a lot of space,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, with this one, you don't have any problem because you are the problem for the other guys.
Well, that was the thing when I was driving in Italy. I grew up in New York City, so I know how to be an aggressive driver if I need to be. And in Italy, that was sort of like the minimum requirement. you know, to be an aggressive driver who drove way too fast and took a lot of risks or whatever. That's sort of like down here, and they're like so far above me. You know, that was just. But I think they had enough.
Are you going to talk to anybody in Italy soon? That's a cat. I can see a cat.
Yeah,
I can see the cat too.
That's
What a great view of the cat.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was just saying you might want to be careful what you say now, because if you want to talk to anybody in Italy, maybe you shouldn't disgrace their car abilities.
I'm not. No, I'm not. Oh, I'm not just. I have total respect for that. No, actually, I did an interview with the folks that created the recent Star Trek fan film that came out of Italy, which was For Love and Honor. And I was even mentioning we had spent my honeymoon in Italy, in the north of Italy, and I did some driving there, and my wife and I are still married, so obviously we survived, and the marriage did. But no, I know I have total respect for Italian drivers and I have respect for them for respecting me. And what I mean by that is I think they understood almost immediately, even if they were about 2 or 3 miles behind me, that I was not from Italy. But I was at least, brave enough to try it. And so they were like, okay, I mean, they'll, get like within 2 inches of my back, my back bumper and then go around me. But I oddly felt safe on the roads in Italy, despite how terrified I was. And I don't know if I'll have the same experience when I go to Germany, but we'll see. Maybe I'll be smart enough and have somebody else drive me around.
Yeah. Just go with the flow.
Let's go with the flow. But all righty. So anyway, so what is it with Star Trek and Germans? What do you guys find so compelling about this American show that it's still so big, even 58 years later?
I think that it started when it was when Star Trek was aired in German television. I mean, they dubbed nowadays every single episode, because we see everything in a German dubbed version, and it was always on TV when we were kids. Actually, when I went to school, I structured my afternoons with the television. I mean, I knew when to do my homework and when not to do my homework, because Star Trek was on. Yeah. And that stays, I think, with all of us. We watched every episode. Actually, something we talked about recently, that there was a game. The episode starts, and you have about 2 seconds, maybe nowadays maybe 10, and you either name the episode or the plot of the episode.
Yeah.
I used to do
whoever's
that.
fastest. Yeah.
When I was videotape, I recorded them on videotape, and I was too lazy to write the episodes on each tape. So one day I had to label all my tapes, and this is the same thing as MIRI. I found out I only needed 2 seconds from each episode, from each of the 178 episodes, to know the season, the title. Yeah.
Very impressive. With the original series, because I grew up watching that in the 1970s, back when there were only 78 Star Trek episodes you had to keep track of, or 79. And I used to joke that I could identify a Star Trek episode by the star date. I don't think I can do that anymore. I'm 57 now. I can't even remember what I had for breakfast, and this morning that was an hour and a half ago. Anyway, but yeah, and I had a friend, by the way. I still have a friend, Alex Rosenzweig. We used to have a little game that we'd play. I would name the NCC number, and he would tell me what the ship was.
Wow. Okay, that's next level. Yeah.
Yeah, that's Rain Man. That.
Oh.
It's like 3417. It's like, oh well, that's a tug class.
I was doing this also with my friend Thomas. We are writing down all the ships and starships mentioned in Star Trek. making a list of all these ships with the name of the episode where it was mentioned, the registry number, the class, the captain. So we made a whole list of. I think we made over several hundred of. I think even 1,000 starships. I don't know where the list is now. It's just an Excel or Word document. That's how nerdy we were as kids.
When William Shatner said "get a life," he was talking to us, all of us.
Yeah.
Yes, and it helps that many of the Star Trek books were also translated into German. So I can remember there was a whole shelf in the bookstore, all Star Trek novels. So we watched it on TV. We were able to read it even before we could speak English. So
Wow.
But it helped me to learn English
Yeah,
because
me too.
yeah, because after around Star Trek Nemesis this time, they didn't translate any novels anymore in German, into German. So and I desperately wanted to read about the Titan, the Titan books, and yeah, then I started to buy them in English. My English was okayish, but not so good, and yeah, then I started to read them first with it's translation next to me, and it's gotten any better. And also, I watched every series with in English with first with German subtitles, and then without. Yeah, and that's Star Trek definitely helped me with my English.
Yeah,
Well, I have to say,
same.
I was going to say, Jay, all of your Englishes are just absolutely amazing. I mean, I would,
Thank you.
my tip of my hat,
So,
because we don't speak as much German nearly here in America.
yeah, in the late 90s or early 2000, when the internet became more and more quicker, and recording and sending like CDs or DVDs via mail, or even stream it, no, not stream, but send it via some messenger stuff over the Atlantic, it became a thing. And we met in some track dinners, round tables, and they were selling these CDs or DVD. I think it was CDs at this times, with the latest Voyager episodes. I think Voyager episode 6 and 7. I watched in a very, very poor resolution. But at this time, I think in German television, it took more than 1 year after
Sometimes a year.
after they premiered in the US. Then they premiered in Germany. So I watched the latest episode of Star Trek and then Enterprise. And then I could download all the episode on my own. Now I can tell you because it's more than 20 years ago. It was illegal then.
We're not coming after you. And at this point, I guess you're seeing the new stuff from Paramount Plus, as it comes out, right? Because it streams,
Sure.
simultaneously. Yeah. Do you have a favorite of the new series that you like more than others?
Pike's hair.
Huh?
Was that
Pike's hair.
you like Pike's hair?
And Pike and his hair.
There is nothing better than Anson Mount's hair in that show. That is absolutely true.
Mount
Yeah,
Anson.
Mount Anson. Yeah, I think most of them are really, really, really cool. I think I love Strange New Worlds. I love Lower Decks. It's hands-on, such a crazy show, and I still think it's such a gift that such a show was given to us. I mean, it's just for Star Trek fans. No other one, none other can understand all this gags in this series. And also Prodigy is such a well-written show. It's a shame that it's not going anywhere anymore.
Well, I mean, we still hold out hope. Yeah, go ahead.
Because that's important for the next generation, because we became fans when we watched it on TV. And actually I have a 6-year-old son now, and I'm watching Prodigy with him, and I'm trying to stretch out the second season because he's not going to understand why there are not no more episodes. So it will be difficult to explain. And that would be perfect for him to be able to watch a Star Trek animated series in the next few years. I can't show him Lower Decks yet, but I'm not sure how to turn him into a Star Trek fan.
Well, you know what I did with my son, who's 14 now, and some of it's just the luck of the draw. But with Jaden, I when he was very, very young, I showed him the animated series, the original animated series first, because I knew he liked cartoons. And, he was just so young at that point, it was just like, oh, cool or whatever. And then I said, there's another version of Star Trek out there. And then I showed him the original series, and then suddenly it's like, oh, the cartoons are real.
I lost you. How about you guys? I lost you, Jonathan? No.
Oh,
you're
hold
back.
on. It says,
Give it a second.
He's back.
He's back now.
okay. I'm back. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
It did say my internet connection was unstable. Hopefully, it will
Okay.
get itself together. We'll have to send it to a therapist. It's an unstable internet connection.
He's always talking about Star Trek.
I can't take it anymore. Stop at the Star Trek, for God's sake.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then we started watching the original series, and we watched the animated episodes again once he at that point he was like 5 or 6, and then we just started watching through Next Generation, Deep Space Nine. We are starting the sixth season of Deep Space Nine, and the fourth season of Voyager. So we've just seen Scorpion Part 2 and The Gift. And we are currently just 2 episodes away from The Sacrifice of Angels, which is the huge visual effects episode where they retape Deep Space Nine. So, really enjoying still watching these. We watch them during dinner time. We're also going through Stargate. We're going through Space Battleship Yamato. I love being able to share this. So, Miri, if you can continue sharing this with your son, I think, obviously, if he can become a sci-fi geek like yourself, that's just a gift to us parents. But,
let's hope so. Yeah. Actually, Next Generation is still on TV, and we came across some episodes, and he's always staying on, and we sometimes just we stretched his going to bed time because the episode wasn't done yet. So yeah, it's working.
There is a wonderful story I remember. Peter David, one of the Star Trek novelists, he used to tell Peter David, you write faster than I can read, which was actually kind of true. But when his daughter Shayna was, I guess, about 6 years old, 5 or 6 years old, she used to love watching Star Trek with Daddy. And back in those days, there was Next Generation. There wasn't Deep Space Nine even yet. And she would watch Next Gen with her dad all the time. And he was watching Star Trek 2 one night, and she came in and she sat down with him, and she was sitting at his feet, and she loved watching Star Trek with him. And so she's watching, the Star Trek 2, which I don't think she'd ever seen before. Because about halfway through the movie, she turned around, she said, "Daddy, what are we watching?" And he said, "It's Star Trek, honey." And she said, "Oh." And she kept watching for a little bit, and then she turned around a couple of minutes later and she said, "Daddy, where's Worf?" Oh, so anyway, yeah, out of the mouths of babes. But like I said, my son is now 14, so I don't get that cuteness from him anymore. But it was fun. Oh, go ahead.
Let me try that with my 6-year-old. I think he would be stumped as well, because I'm not sure he knows Kirk yet. I'm not sure.
Does Linus know Kirk, Basti? Because Basti's nephew, he's 3 years, 3.5.
Yeah. I think so. Right now he is more into Picard, because I think, Next Generation or some episodes of Next Generation are more, 3-year-old friendly. So he knows Worf. Yeah, yesterday he watched an episode, and then he immediately noticed, oh, there's Worf. So yeah.
I remember when Jane. I remember when Jane was 4 years old, and I knew he was going to be starting, kindergarten soon, school, and they were going to, have kids who would watch Star Wars. And it was very important for me for Jaden to discover that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker's father in the same way that I did back in 1980.
Okay.
But how do you do that? Because once he starts going to school, everybody's going to talk about Anakin and that, he's Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father, whatever. So I had to cut this off at the pass. And so what I did when Jaden was 4.5, almost 5, is he was just starting to watch movies on my iPad. So what I did was I loaded up Star Wars. And whenever we drove anywhere, when he was, in the house or whatever, and he'd earned some computer time or whatever, I would let him watch Star Wars. And he watched it over and over and over again, just like I did. And so for 2 months, all Jaden knew was that Darth Vader had killed Luke Skywalker's father. That was all that he knew. And then finally, after 2.5 months of just Star Wars, then we watched The Empire Strikes Back together. And I recorded Jaden's response.
Oh, that's so cute.
To seeing that scene where he's like, I am your father. And he gave me the best reaction ever.
Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father. He told me enough. He told me you killed him. No. I am your father.
Perfect.
Anyway. Alrighty. Anyway, back to EUDERION. So when you guys end up with a brand new script and you're ready to film, what happens? What do you guys do to plan for it, get people together, schedule stuff, filming? How long does it take to film an episode? All of that good stuff. Who wants to answer?
The Basti question.
Yeah, well, I think for our newest film, the Legacy of the Archine was, I think we had 8 or 9 filming days. And it took some planning to do because, getting everyone together is probably one of the main, challenges in front of filming. And especially a film like this one where, it was almost 50 minutes or so without subtitles, outtakes. So I don't know how many scenes we had. So it was some planning to do. And mostly before we film, I look at the script and then start to make heads and tails of it and try to figure out who's available at one time, and then we sit together with our group or we have a shared calendar and start planning. And of course everything else we don't sometimes for this one we needed some costumes for our aliens and some props. And so Thomas had to build some, I think, microscope and those beautiful headpieces for our aliens. And this it's not like we write the script and then just after that start building the props. I think sometimes it's more like a parallel workflow. So I don't know how much time we took to build the props and to get starting, because it's almost 2 years, 3 years ago when we it's a long time.
Almost 3 years ago now.
But
the whole shooting and post-production and everything was about 2 years. And I think actually when we start filming, the ones of us who are only the actors, actually we get a whole script that we can print for ourselves. But for every day that we shoot, he gives us the specific scenes, and he structured it this way that only these people who are needed on that day, we only do these scenes that we can do with the people available. So it will happen, and then we try to shoot them in chronological order, the scenes that we do on that day. So sometimes we do a scene from the beginning of the movie and then a scene from the end of the movie, because it's the same people talking to one another. So that's the whole planning
Yeah.
that Basti does, actually. So
And I think it's much more easier all this planning stuff for us than I think for like the Lorelei. There are so many people and they are shooting mainly outside, so they have some planning to do. But our studio is in the basement of my sister, so it's mostly available. We just have to get all the regular basement stuff out of the basement and our tech stuff in, and the actors and what's needed. So yeah, it's much more easier to find some time and the people to film and to get everything together. That's what I wanted to say. We in our last movie we had one scene on location outside in a forest here nearby. So this was the most challenging scene, because on location filming is it's a complete different rodeo than we're going down into the basement and turning the lights on in front of the green screen and putting the camera there.
Much more controlled environment. What is most challenging when you actually go on location?
Weather.
So you plan for weeks in advance. This must be the weekend when we film, and then we have the German weather.
People.
But also, I think we never had problems with weather, right? We always were lucky.
Until now, right now.
Well, we filmed it,
and of course. And there's one of my favorite stories. One of the older movies, the Riser movies. Was during the pandemic. Basti and Thomas, I think they were doing location scout where you can shoot so it looks like the planet Riser, and they found this empty pathway right by the lake, so it was very nice. And then we planned to shoot on a Sunday. It was a sunny Sunday, and almost the whole city was walking over that pathway because everything was closed, and the only thing people could do was walking. And so we had to kindly ask some people to wait for a few seconds so we can shoot and pretend it's like an empty pathway.
And they don't care. They don't care if it's standing a Klingon in a Hawaiian shirt and some people with a camera. No, they just want to feed their ducks.
I think I saw one of those in the outtakes, the closing credits of that episode.
But we definitely want to explore more and more, also more on location scenes and put them in our films, because I think green screen is that's our main thing, and it's great to have it. But on location filming is also very exciting, and you're learning with every scene you're filming outside, and it's completely different kind of filming day.
So what have you guys learned over the 15 or 16 years that you've been doing this, lessons about filmmaking?
Well, I think Basti learned the most, because he is he's the tech guy, and he improves every bit especially with the sound, because sound is always, I think it's more challenging than image.
For me, I mean, I professionally I'm a cameraman and doing a lot of post work right now for a production company. So actually my EUDERION stuff helped me learning some workflows and the programs and all the business in a like a sandbox. I could do and try things out in our EUDERION films and use them then with doing my professional work. And yeah, over the last 10, 12 years, yeah, it gradually advanced. I mean, especially green screens, so the keying. If you see our first movies, okay, this was a long time ago and different tech there, but yeah, I think we gotten quite good in our keying stuff, green screen keying, putting putting the backgrounds into the scenes. And yeah, so much more audio, all the sound stuff. I learned a lot. And yeah, and we learned that we actually shouldn't film during summer because it's always getting so hot. But somehow we still getting together in summer when we're filming. So don't know what we're doing wrong. Yeah. But
Now,
you learn with every film, and yeah.
Now, do the folks where you work are they aware of your extracurricular activities, shall we say? Have they seen what you've done?
I actually put that in my Bewerbung,
Your resume.
Your resume, your
resume, yeah. That with links to the films, and I think it's actually a bonus when you put something like that into your resume. I mean, there are probably companies who don't care, but some companies, oh, look, he's a little bit crazy, but just, yeah, get him in and let's just talk with him. And yeah, they know. And before my current job, I worked on a cruise ship for a cruise ship company. So I was always for 7 years on ships around the world. And even when I get to a new ship, new tour for 4 or 5 months, when I got there were so many people who I'd never seen before, and they always said, you're the guy with the spaceships, right? So yeah, and I even had my uniform with me on the ship. So yeah, everyone knows. I'm a nerd by heart, so yeah.
Might as well be a nerd and be proud of it. Miri,
Yeah.
what do you do for a living, and do the folks at your job or your friends know what you've done in Star Trek?
I try to keep it a little bit more subtle. I do boring stuff in Tom, you have to help me. Öffentliche Verwaltung.
Public service?
Public service, yeah. And
Okay.
yeah, but actually I have in my office a little rubber duck, Janeway, in her bathtub. It was a gift from a friend, from Amelie, and a little ball cube next to it. It sits on top of my of a shelf, and everyone who turns the side in the right direction can see it. And I have a small sticker on that looks like a little pad next to the door. But there's also some Babylon 5 stuff in my office. I have a Daffy Duck. It's the god of sadness. It's a smiling Daffy Duck, and it's the gods of sadness. Every Babylon 5 fan knows that. And
Garibaldi, my friend, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But it hasn't. I don't think the right people have seen it yet. So.
It's there waiting for somebody to discover. Oh,
yes.
And that'll happen. And how about you, Tom? What do you do for a living, and do the people that you work with know what what you do in your spare time?
I'm in a phase of transition right now. So actually, I'm a trained teacher. So I was teaching physics and mathematics in like high school in Berlin. And then I was, for 9 years, I was president of my union. So whenever you heard about a strike of teachers in Berlin, it was me.
That was your fault. Okay.
It was my fault, yes. And now I'm out of office right now, and I'm trying to find a new, well, I have a job, I have a contract, I have an unlimited contract, so no one has to worry about me. But I try to find new challenges now since I'm out of office now. But so either I will find something interesting for the next years, or I will go to my original job and teach again, which is a wonderful job. And physics was Star Trek was the reason I studied physics. So Star Trek is always in my life, and I had some tasks and some exercises in school which were Star Trek related. So my students, they knew I'm a nerd, and they found the fan movies, the fan films, and yeah, they're very, very, very nice with my hobby.
Very supportive.
Come on, Tom managed to put some Star Trek quotes on television. Come on, that was epic.
Yeah, okay, I have to tell this. So
Please.
when I was doing interviews, when I was the union president, and I was always telling my friends, my Star Trek friends, oh, I'm on television this evening, this night, or tomorrow, and it will be live. And then Basti came with this challenge that, okay, now we make the challenge. We will tell you a quote, a Star Trek quote or whatever, and you have to try to say this during the live interview. And I think one of the Miri told me the line must be drawn here no further. So from Star Trek First Contact, and I did it. So they were all celebrating and cheering. Yeah, he made it. And
well, at least you didn't
stuff.
say you had to say logic is a tweeting bird.
So I was it was very challenging, and my press officer, he was very mad at me that because I was not concentrating on the content, but concentrating on the quote. But I said I can do both. And so later, after I did it quite a few times, he said, "Wow, that's actually quite a good idea." Because, for example, Basti told me, "Say brain surgery." So I said, "Okay." I had to find a sentence spontaneously to say brain surgery. And my press officer, he said to me, okay, that was a sentence that stays in the mind of the people. So that television is it's hard to bring content over television, especially during live interviews, and it's hard to find sentences that stays in people's mind. And this brain surgery sentence, it stays in people's mind, yeah.
So let me ask the Star Trek EUDERION, how well are you known in Germany in the fan community? Obviously, probably beyond the fan community, probably not. But within the Star Trek fan community, the extensive Star Trek fan community in Germany, how many people know about you and recognize you at conventions and whatever?
I think we are quite famous.
Yeah, right. Also, yeah, I think so. More and more, especially during the last years, we noticed that we are getting noticed. Yeah, there were. I think my sister was noticed from a little girl or something, and during our last convention here in Berlin, in Potsdam Babelsberg, there was a little Comic-Con, and there she was noticed. And yeah, myself, I think a few years ago was also noticed. We had a little we were on FedCon, and then we had a little setup there with the television, with showing our films, and behind me was a little a boy with his father, and the father said, "Hey, you know this guy?" And I was turning around, and yeah, that's the one from the film. This is nice. Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. How about Carl? Is Carl getting recognized at conventions?
Oh yes. When you walk through the hallways, through the convention venue, it takes hours because everyone wants to take a photo, and some say, "Oh, it's Peanut Hamper." I say, "It's not Peanut Hamper, it's Carl." And then we tell the story, and everyone loves Carl. When you are with Carl, take your time.
Because there are not so many exocoms out there.
Yeah.
Just
true.
Just not, yeah.
I mean, you got Peanut Hamper, and and obviously she's evil, and Carl, who actually is delightful. I mean, if you listen to him on camera,
Yeah.
Well, you don't know the story that in the German, well, of course, there's only a German version of our film. Can we tell it with Benjamin?
Ja, klar.
I think we can tell. So there is this one guy who is the German dubbing voice of Dr. Kalber in Discovery, and he's I wouldn't call him a friend, but we are very close, and sometimes we're meeting and we are writing, and he has the small museum in his town of Eberswalde, north of Berlin, and he's also a host of a show at public broadcast. So he's a public person. He is doing the 55th anniversary of Star Trek. He made a daily show on YouTube, so he has a lot of stuff to say. And he is the voice of our Carl. So in German, Dr. Kalber is the voice of Carl.
So he dubs Culber's voice in the German then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's a professional voice actor.
Oh, that's why your Carl sounds so like a trained actor.
Yes.
Thinking, as an exocomp, he's actually, quite accomplished. You put the comp, accomplished and
accomplished.
Exocomplished.
Yes.
But I punned in English and the person in German got it. But
and
yes,
he's a German, and he's a German weather guy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. And apparently you do have weather in Germany. So
sometimes, even in Berlin.
Even in Berlin.
And he's always wearing, sometimes he's wearing science fiction and Star Trek sweaters.
Yeah. And you can cut that out if it's not correct. I think it's its birthday today.
I don't know.
Is it? Let me find out.
So.
Oh, okay. Well, just so you know, we're recording this on October 13th, by the way, even though it may not be up on October 13th, because I have to still edit all of this. But
he's probably one.
It was yesterday. You were right, Miri. It was yesterday.
Yesterday, right? It's yesterday. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. How do you say happy birthday in German? You can teach me that.
Oh, don't make us sing, please.
Oh, I won't.
Alles
Gute.
What was that?
Alles Gute zum Geburtstag.
Oh, I'm going to have trouble with that one. Alles Gute.
Zum Geburtstag, Benjamin.
For God's sake. Yeah, okay. I need a lot more help with my Alrighty, so wrapping up, what is next for EUDERION? Are you guys already starting to film your next episode?
Not right now. Yeah, no, we are more. This year was more like getting ourselves together, getting just sitting together, thinking about how we will continue, because as I told you, we have so many ideas, but we need to structure everything, and also we want to always improve ourselves also. Like our look in our films, and how our animations and everything. So we have plans. We want to proceed with we have this new ERDMANN model, 3D model, because we think our ship is ready for a refit. Desperately needed. So there's already this model which Thomas built on his computer, and it's already, I think, 3, 4, 5 years old, and we desperately need to see it in action. So this will be the story. I think we will do some stuff in the yard, some shorter stuff. No 1 hour movie, because 1 hour movie took two years to finish, and we just want to concentrate on smaller projects where we can test stuff, and also getting into this next phase with the new or upgraded ship. So we hope that we will start filming a new episode sometime early or mid next year. So we need to get up and then and get rolling again, but we will. I've recently bought a new camera, and always burning my own money, but it's fun. I know why I'm burning my own money, and
Have you ever thought about doing any crowdfunding, or is it all going to be self-financed?
we thought about it, but we're against it. We decided to don't do crowdfunding. Of course, with crowdfunding you can do bigger stuff, bigger projects, but especially well, there are more things to consider. First, of course, there are the fan film guidelines, and I mean we broke them with our last movie with 1 hour. But I think when it comes to money, it's a special consideration, and
The fun ends with money.
yeah, and we just don't want to go into this thing, this trouble. And also, when you're just financing it and doing your stuff with your money, you can do basically whatever you want, and you not don't have to see what some comments say. I paid you this money, why don't you do this story or this story? No, we're just doing the stories and the things we want to, and no, we never consider doing some crowdfunding.
Okay, well that's fine.
Yeah, we're just burning our own money.
Yeah, burning your own money is fine. You're having fun, and that's the important part.
Yeah.
So anyway, I want to say Dankeschön, meine Freunde, for your time today, and I'm glad that you are enjoying your experiences making fan films. Any final things you'd like to say to your fans and the people watching the video?
Thank you for watching, or thank you out there that you watched our current film, because it's right now at 23,000 views. For us as a German production, it's quite so much, so many views.
Yay.
And yeah, especially thank you for all the English and international viewers, because we know it's not easy to follow our stuff, especially when it's not in English and you have to read all the stuff. But yeah, that's the thing I wanted to say. Thank you. And who knows what the AI age brings you? Maybe read up our stuff sometime in the future.
That's possible, but I'll tell you, I do commend you, by the way, for having excellent subtitles. I'm guessing that you do those yourself. That's not just automatic.
Tom is writing them.
Yeah. So it's very accurate. Sometimes you don't get good translations from YouTube's automatic stuff, and sometimes you don't necessarily get good translations from folks that are providing their own, because they don't necessarily speak English as well as you guys do. So, but it was very, very easy for me to read along with your German, and just a very enjoyable experience.
Thank you for the feedback.
I never got feedback for that. Okay, good to know. Thank you.
No, you're very welcome. Any final thoughts from Miri?
Just happy to be here. Looking forward to the next sets and being in the cellar again. No, it's always fun.
This woman is looking forward to being in the cellar.
In this
that
one,
sounds strange.
I like the color green.
Green is always good. Green is always good. Any final thoughts from Tom and Carl and the other Carl?
Many people watching this are interested in fan films, and I love watching fan films. So every one of you, if you ever consider doing a fan film, please do it, and just go the first step and then get better, and do more fan films, please.
Just do them. We love watching them. We just love them. All righty. Well, once again, Dankeschön. Thank you very much, everybody. And I guess I will say live long and prosper.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.